I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's webcast. I want to mention a few things from this book, Apollyon Rising 2012 by Tom Horn, who was with us last week, and we talked about his book. There is an interesting story here on page 317 where he writes 12 miles south of Lake Titicaca, located in the center of an array of all kinds of geological glyphs, lies the megalithic ruins of Tiahuanaco. I guess I'm pronouncing that correctly. It looks like Tiahuanaco with an ACO at the end of it, so I guess it's Tiahuanaco. Known as the American Stonehenge and the Baalbek of the New World. Its architecture exhibits technological skill that exceeds the modern feats of building. At Tiahuanaco, immense stoneworks were joined with modular fittings and complex breech-locking levels that have never been seen in any other ancient culture. According to engineers, one of the largest single stones ever to be moved and put into building anywhere on Earth, about 400 tons, one stone, 400 tons, came from a quarry over 200 miles away. This feat is even more incomprehensible when one realizes that the route of transport was through a mountain range up to 15,000 feet. Now, how'd they do that? That is the question. Well, conventional historians tried to assign the age of the structures at Tiahuanaco to around 600 BC, postulating that a pre-Inca civilization without the benefit of the wheel, modern tools, or even a written language constructed these architectural marvels. Obviously, they did not. It must be older because historian Arthur Poznansky studied the area for more than 50 years and observed that sediment had been deposited over the site to the depth of 6 feet. In other words, this entire area had been underwater and deposited a sediment 6 feet deep. It goes on to say, within this overburden, produced by massive floodwaters sometime thousands of years ago, fossilized human skulls, now get this, these were human-like skulls, fossilized, were unearthed at this same place, together with seashells and remnants of tropical plants. The skulls have nearly 3 times the cranial capacity of modern man, and they are on display at the La Paz Museum in Bolivia. In other words, this area was inhabited by a race of giants. Furthermore, these giants, since their skulls were located in the same place where these huge 400-ton megalithic stone was moved 200 miles from a quarry 200 miles away, evidently these giants were in charge of that as well. I think that's rather interesting because the Bible says that giants lived on the earth during the age before Noah's flood. And here we have in Bolivia, high in the Andes Mountains, an ancient ruin discovered, and among the ruins, skulls 3 times the size of a normal human being. Fascinating, huh? So in addition, when the first Spanish chroniclers arrived with the conquistador Pizarro, the Incas explained that Tiahuanaco had been constructed by a race of giants called Huras before what they call period of darkness, and was already in ruins before their civilization began. They said these giants had been created by a god whom they called Veracocha. And to the Aztecs, it was Quetzalcoatl, their god who came from the heavens. That's what they say, this winged lizard god. So, he, Veracocha, created animals and a race of giants. These beings enraged the Lord, and he turned them into stone. Then he flooded the earth till all was underwater and all life extinguished. This flood was called Unu Paracuti by the Incas, which means, quote, water that overturns the land. They said that it rained 60 days and nights, that it drowned all created things, and that there alone remained some vestiges of those who were turned into stones. Viracocha rose from the bosom of the lake Titicaca and presided over the erection of those wondrous cities whose ruins still dot its islands and western shores, and whose history is totally lost in the night of time. So says the book, Apollyon Rising 2012. It's a fascinating read. He has so many things in it that point to the ancient giants, which the Bible calls Nephilim, and to the future return of their god, Quetzalcoatl, the winged serpent god, and that he's coming back. The Mayas say in 2012, well, I don't know that that's the case, but it's a fascinating book. I'd like to encourage you to get it. It's called Apollyon Rising 2012. It's available from our ministry. Just call the phone number at the bottom of your screen and order it today. I think it's, let's see. I think it's, yes, $15.95 plus shipping and handling. This is our February edition of Prophecy in the News magazine. And when you call, order a copy of this as well if you don't get a subscription. Or, may I suggest, you subscribe. This cover story, by the way, shows the Vatican with a UFO up here above it. Of course, I put the UFO there just for illustration purposes. But the Vatican thinks that these guys are coming to Earth. And so the title of the article is The Extraterrestrial Question. Are the gods going to return? Are the giants coming back? And will they come in saucer-like vehicles? Well, the Vatican recently had a conference on UFOs. Yeah, I said the Vatican. That's right. And we've got the story in the February magazine. Hope you'll get it. And keep praying for us. Keep looking up. We'll see you again tomorrow with our analysis of the news.